Hi, and welcome to this week's Ask an Attorney. Today, we're joined by Cody Nichols from the firm of Schweiger, Clemeen, and McBride. Welcome, Cody.
Thanks, Wayne. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Today's question is this, Cody. My husband and I just bought our first home. Our home is older and has several things we would like to update eventually. To save on costs, we plan to do most of these updates ourselves. We have some experience with do-it-yourself home projects, but we are by no means licensed contractors. If we make a mistake during one of these projects, will the repair costs be covered by our home insurance?
Yeah, this is a somewhat tricky question that doesn't have a simple yes or no answer. It's going to be dependent on the type of policy and damages that occur. Most home insurance policies cover sudden or accidental losses.
Okay, so kind of a yes, maybe type answer right there.
Yep.
All right, what does the phrase sudden or accidental mean as far as the content of insurance coverage?
Sudden means whatever happened should not have been the result of damage over time. So, for example, let's say the viewer is installing a pipe fitting in a bathroom project, and for some reason they install the pipe fitting improperly, and there's a small leak that occurs. But the viewer doesn't catch it until several months later when she notices water damage in the wall and floor surrounding the area. In that situation, those damages wouldn't be considered sudden because those damages happened over several months. Compare that to the viewer didn't actually install the pipe fitting correctly, and the pipe fitting just breaks, and the basement fills up with water in a matter of hours. Those types of damages and repairs would be considered sudden because it happened right away. There was nothing the viewer could have done to prevent it. Accidental damages are those that occur unintentionally and are unexpected or unforeseen. So, for example, let's assume the viewer is installing a light fixture in the living room, and she gets to the spot where they're connecting wires. And instead of using wire nuts, she simply just twists the loose wires together, leaving them bare, shoves them up into the ceiling, and finishes the install. Then let's say over time those wires become loose and they start to spark. The sparks create a fire in the home. The insurance company may say that that wasn't accidental because it's foreseeable that leaving bare, loose connected wires in the ceiling would cause a fire. So there could be coverage issues in that situation.
Okay, Cody, let me ask you this. Are there other common insurance provisions, for example, that could create coverage issues for the viewer?
Yeah, another one that we often see is the faulty workmanship exclusion. Basically, damages that are caused by negligence are sometimes not covered. So for example, let's say the viewer wants an open concept in the main floor of the home, and without checking to make sure that the walls aren't load bearing, they just start removing walls, and the following day they see the ceiling starting to sag, there's cracks in the wall, and other structural issues maybe. In that case, it would be negligent to remove walls without making sure they aren't load bearing walls. So those damages could be excluded under the faulty workmanship exclusion. Viewers should also understand that the sudden or accidental loss and the faulty workmanship provision is just two of several coverage issues that could arise in situations like this. Like most things in the legal world, these types of cases are heavily fact dependent.
Okay, then Cody, what can the viewer do to protect herself from these kinds of coverage issues?
Sure. Generally, I would just recommend not attempting home projects that are outside their skill set. Several home projects include things like plumbing, HVAC, electrical, and carpentry work that just pose several skill challenges that most untrained people aren't prepared to deal with. If the viewer ever gets to a spot where they don't know how to do something or what to do, call a contractor. If a contractor comes in and does the work and something goes wrong, the viewer can always seek remedies against the contractor and hopefully avoid paying repairs out of their own pocket. Sometimes the added cost may be worth the added protection.
Yeah, good point. As always, Cody, very good information. We thank you for that. And we also want to remind people that each individual case will be different. So our best advice to you would be to ask an attorney.